All right, good morning. Good morning, one, good morning, all, and welcome to another program here on Waves 96.3 FM. You know, you're locked on live in studio with the religious news crew. And we're on the scene today to deliver the words to you. Like before, sorry, listeners out there and our people, we want to speak back on a similar topic of which we left off the last time we were here, which was a week before last, Becky, and we're talking about the AI thing and the surveillance. I want to kick it up
Yeah,
a notch, you see, people, because we want to look at the digital economy with it as well.
yeah.
And this Jubilee year thing, seeing that we're in 2025, and the Pope
Wow.
declares it, or the Pope that is now dead, apparently declares it as a Jubilee year. So I want to see where we are in the whole scheme of things, people. So without further ado, seeing that we have to a late start, we get right into it. We ask Becky to give us a word of prayer.
Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you, Lord, for life. Thank you, Lord, for all that you have done for us, all that you have been to us. Thank you for another day as we seek to discuss, to share with our listeners things concerning you, things that are happening in the world today that pertains to your second return, the closeness of your second return. May you be with us, take us safely through. As always, Lord, may your Holy Spirit be our guide. Teach us, instruct us. May we be able to share the truth according to your will. Take us safely through. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Okay, we have faith people today because I realized before we even start, there's things happening in this world, especially
Right.
in a little Jamaica here. We see a whole heap of things happening, people. Things that we want to bring to your attention for you also to understand where you are in the whole scheme of things. So,
Yeah.
Becky, let us have what you have for us today now.
Well, you start off on a foot in there.
Yeah.
You were saying Pope and Jubilee year
Uh,
and,
some whole heap of things
all
are
those
going on.
kind of things. And to that we could add so many more things.
Yes, yes,
Uh, we see the earth is getting very active, and that was one
yes,
of the things the Pope was so concerned about,
yes.
all concerned.
Climate change and everything with
Yes,
that.
climate is being messed up and earthquake in diverse places. But that is Bible
Yes,
prophecy,
yes,
as Jesus prophesied that those are some of the things that will happen,
yes.
prior to his second return.
And indeed, we've
Yeah.
seen them with more frequency, Becky.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
more frequent and they're more disastrous.
Uh-huh. Well,
Yes,
I did not know that this would that a man
mm-hmm.
would be the ones involved. Every time I read, well, days gone by when I used to read those passages and
Yes,
see where distress of nations, earthquake in diverse places, wars, rumors of wars, especially the one with the natural disasters.
mm-hmm.
I thought that these things were act of God kind of
Yes,
things.
yes.
I did not know that what Jesus was prophesying were things that man would be so involved in.
That's what many of us believed in back then because
Hmm.
I thought the same thing. Is recently, yeah, I
Yeah,
can say recently, I realized that mankind has a huge role to play
yeah,
in
yeah,
terms of controlling these things. And I realize that once it reaches such a point where mankind is controlling these things, it means that they're seeking to play God.
yeah,
And once
yeah.
you're seeking to play God, Becky, you know that it is time for God to put on your foot and call that enough is enough.
Uh,
Because you can't have two God are in one penny, there is only one. God said you cannot serve him and mammon. It's either one or the other people. And that is what I want you to understand where we are in the history of this world and how close we are to the end of the history of
yeah,
this world.
yeah. Um, Please take note, Uncle Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Very important. Last night was a disaster.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
let me hope the people listening understand what we're saying. Um, we're referring to last night's program on Waves 96.3
Yes,
FM
yes.
with Nevert and Anthony. Not the program was not a disaster. The program
You know,
program was
what are you talking
excellent,
about?
excellent. But there was a thing happening on YouTube. All right. This morning, you jumped to that, but I'm looking at some things that are happening here in Jamaica, um, and it has to do with our children
Yes,
and the role. I'm seeing a certain direction that things are heading. A role that the children are used, are asked to play, you
mm,
know, and how damaging this may be for us all as Jamaicans, not just as not Jamaicans per se, but also more so Christians.
yes,
Those who believe that the Ten Commandments still apply. We should still abide by them. We can't consider those persons the remnant. Revelation speaks to them as those who have the testimony of God and the
yes,
faith of
yes.
Jesus Christ. I see where this may affect that set of people in some ways. I was looking at a publication in the Jamaica Gleaner where the Ministry of Education is paying keen attention to the children, which is, I think it's very good. That's what a government should be doing. It should cater for every member of
But
society.
catering for them in what way?
Uh, well, they can put it across as something good, but then, it may not be. I,
Yes,
I was speaking with Anthony last week, Thursday, on the program, Drive Time Bible Study,
yes,
and I was sharing that um, the Bible tells us that in Revelation it states that the beast, the dragon, was wrath with the woman
hmm,
and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the
yes.
commandments of God
Not
and
the
the faith
faith.
of Jesus. So the dragon, but the dragon's primary instrument is the papacy,
Right.
of which the Pope is head. Um, so it tells us that they will be persecuting God's people. But then what we see happening, who we see in the forefront playing this role, is the Seventh-day Adventist organization. And we find it really strange because the Bible didn't say,
Exactly.
you know,
Yeah. Right. Right.
but then we drew for the situation with Jesus, when he was here with the 12 disciples, that there was one among them
Mm-hmm.
who wasn't called.
Called.
You
Yes.
know, he placed himself among them. And he's the one who betrayed
Yes. Jesus.
Jesus to uh, the same organization back then,
Yes. The
the
Jews.
Sanhedrin, the Jews.
Yes. Yes.
He's the one who betrayed them, and they turned Christ over to the
To the
Romans.
Roman. Right.
So, at the forefront is those who consider themselves to be the church, who
Yes.
profess to
Yes.
be the church.
Yes.
They're
I,
the ones at the forefront.
I know as a speed that big what comes to mind is within Parliament.
Yeah,
Same government, the Parliament of Jamaica. Many of them are Adventists, right?
yeah, yeah,
Proclaim to be. I meant to say, many people call the name of the denomination. Many of them claim to be Christians. Then,
right,
but when you
right.
look at the things you're doing, it is unchristian. Then you want then you're misrepresenting the character of God, and that's one of the biggest sin you can do in people. Is
Yes,
to
sure, sure.
misrepresent the character of God.
Yeah,
So going out there, remember we always say it on this program, Proverbs 29 verse 2, when the righteous rule, let the people rejoice. When the wicked bear rule, the people
people
mourn.
more.
And
Yeah,
then we see mourning happening all over the world now, and then they are trying to bear, are they stating or professing to bear the character of God and the image of God? Yet they're doing the quite opposite,
yes,
because they're going
yes.
to church or whatever and say, oh, yes, I've God, and if anything they had like a program, then pray before. Say that, then pray before, let them and say, yes, but what are they praying to? That's the thing we supposed to look at. What are they praying to? What are they worshiping?
And then they have prayer breakfast and all of that.
Yeah, all them thing there.
I think breakfast is good. It's very good, but um, we can touch that another time. Yeah, but if you find that happening, and even further down, we spoke on that too last week, where uh, you were expecting Rome to be persecuted in the early Christian church.
Right.
But what you found happening was the same set of
A Chris
persons,
spread their own.
the same set of persons, because the first to attack them was, well, one of the first persons to attack them was Paul,
Yes.
as in Saul,
Yeah.
you know, and were it not for his conversion on the road to Damascus, who knows?
Yes.
Who knows? Because,
Millions more.
yeah, man, because he was so um, persevering.
Mm.
He was so serious about what he was doing,
Yes.
because he thought he was
Doing it for
doing
the good.
the will of God.
Yes.
All right, so we find, I see in the Adventist Review, the publication that came out the 10th of April, 2025, which was not too long ago. It's talking about 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow being 2 weeks.
Yes.
There was a meeting that was held, and the Adventist Review, by the way, is the official publication.
Okay.
Official,
For Adventist.
yes.
Okay.
We call it the news publication, or you could
Yeah,
call it
like
a
Green and-
magazine. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's the official one for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Um, it speaks of a meeting that was held in Senton, March 24 to 26, 2025. And the theme, it was a workshop, and the theme was child protection, a godly priority. It aims to raise awareness about local laws, church policies, and strategies for protecting children. Now, protecting children, I think that is something positive.
Yes.
Uh, Vernal here, Lorian Vernal, is the Women's, Children's, and Adolescents Ministries Director of the Jamaica Union Conference. So Vernal emphasized the church's commitment to decisive action, saying, "We are decisive in taking action against an individual or group in any incident of abuse by reporting to the police and other relevant authorities." This is the church speaking. It says, "We are decisive in taking action against any individual, any group, in any incidents of abuse by reporting to the police and other relevant authorities." Um, I don't really see much wrong in that, because we don't believe in abuse of children.
Yes.
By any individual or any group, but they're going to report them to the police and the relevant authorities. But further to that, it says, primary goal of the workshop was to equip church workers with the tools and knowledge needed to safeguard children. Our objective is to establish child protection committees across all levels of the church by the end of 2025. And I'm wondering, why does a church decide to go all out,
for child protection,
and play a role that the government should be playing? Why are they the ones to do that? But then it says, it speaks to abuse, incidents of abuse. And you ask yourself, what do they make reference to? When they say incidents of abuse, give some examples. We need some examples of what they make reference to as abuse.
Right.
It says, it outlines signs of neglect, so that is considered abuse. Abandonment of the children, that is considered abuse, which is abusive, true. Unattended medical or hygiene needs, which is abuse. Lack of supervision, and limited access to education. Now, when I saw limited access to education, that one jumped out at me. So I had that one underlined. We need creative strategies to ensure that responsible adults are adequately supervising children. Now, limited access to education. based on what is happening in the education sector in our country, um, it causes one to be somewhat nervous, especially as a profess, as a child of God.
Yeah.
You know, you are told to bring your child up in a particular way, so that the child may focus on, godliness, and may be able to represent God at a certain age, well, from childhood onwards into
Yes.
adulthood.
Yes.
But what's happening in the schools now, they are, based on this data collection, they are telling you that if you if a child is absent from school, so maybe even 2 days or so, there's an agency that is the Child Protection and Family Services Agency. um, their responsibility is to find out what is happening with that child.
So what if
Yeah,
the case the child doesn't is homeschooled?
it's homeschooled. Then again, I think they'll be taking a keen look at homeschooling,
Mm. That's a serious
because
issue, you know.
for according to them, if you are homeschooling a child, the child need to be homeschooled, just as how,
The regular ones go to school
yes man, the same
because
curriculum, everything
right
should be the
because
same.
I'm looking at it in a Vicky. Remember, you know, and remember, listeners, the government wants everyone to be on the Internet of Things. All are supposed to
So
be a
true.
part of this digitize the revolution.
Yes.
So when you homeschool your child, you are homeschooling your child. I'm just saying now, for instance sake,
Hmm.
the most means by which a person is homeschooling their child is so that they're not a part of the system that the regular child is being a part of, the
For
regular
whatever
government.
reasons.
Right, for whatever reasons.
Yes.
Yeah. So they take them to homeschool them so they can have better what I mean now, what I'm trying to say now. Better means of controlling their time spent and so forth, how they
Yes.
curve them in learning. So
Yes.
they that means they would cut them off for the whole digitized aspect of what is
Hmm.
happening in the regular curriculum.
Right.
So if that is what you're saying, then that simply means that homeschooling is gonna be a thing of the past. That means that
Yeah.
which one means to say this? Every child must learn, every child will
Every
learn.
child can learn,
Can
every
learn, every
child
child
must
must
learn.
learn, right?
Yes.
So you're seeing that same instance being played out now where every child has to be a part of this digitized system that
Yeah.
is coming out.
Hmm.
Because if you're not a part of it, you're basically saying that the child won't learn. Because we have to move, as the Prime Minister said, we have to move with the age of it. I'm paraphrasing, but it is same effect you're saying. You have to move with the age of the time. So if
Yes.
we're moving towards a digital economy, if the world is moving towards that, we have to move towards it as well. So we have to be in one accord, basically. That's what they're saying. We have to be in one accord with what the world is doing. So if that's the case, when the children are moving to tablets and so forth,
Yeah.
put school system and so forth. So that means you can't take your child off of the digital system now. They're supposed to be a part of it for them to learn.
Hmm.
And if you want to take them off, that means your neighbor go stitch by you and CDA, Sisoka or whoever them be, I go come at your house for your child. You understand? It is that serious now, people. I want you to understand
Yeah.
where we are in the history of things right now and where we are going.
So that new organization,
Yes.
that new entity, that will, they say, will come and take that child, because
Yes.
you don't know how to educate that child, so they're going to do it. The new one is the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA.
Mm.
I don't know if that is merged with Sisoka and everybody
No.
together, but that's a new one. Um, the government says, because I saw this article in the Jamaica Gina, March 27, 2025.
Yes.
The big heading: Education Ministry launches 3.7 million US dollars joint digital transformation program.
Education sector.
So the aim is to make the society a digital
Digital.
society,
Right.
the education sector digital,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
The joint program on digital transformation for education will go a long way in supporting our wider thrust to ensure that the education, and this is the Minister of Education speaking, the joint program on digital transformation for education will go a long way in supporting our wide thrust to ensure that the education sector is resilient agile, and providing the support our students and teachers need to succeed.
Hmm.
Especially as we continue to see a shift globally in how technology is becoming
Mhm.
integrated into education sectors. A key component of the program is the implementation of Education Management Information System (EMIS), which enables real-time monitoring of educational
Wow.
indicators. So they are able to stay where they are, as in
Right,
maybe head
right.
office, and knows exactly what's happening in the classroom.
It's like a grid. You're connected to a grid. It's the
Real
Internet of
time.
Things, you know. Real.
Yeah.
Remember what Chang said,
Hmm.
Minister of Security, when he was talking about the police rollout of the digitized JCF
Yeah.
system.
Hmm.
We want real time. So let's give a real time information. So it's like
Hmm.
real time knowledge to give a real time information.
Yeah.
So that is how they'll be monitoring and controlling systems, and they can give you real time information because they must see everything that's happening. They're seeing it. But then I wanted to ask a question, Becky.
Yeah.
Is it that the education didn't work before? Education back in the past wasn't working. Why they have to go with this digitized transformation? When they used to count one and two stone,
Hmm.
when you get some stone
Hmm.
outside and you gotta take up your stone. Remember them days I put them together, I tap yourself and you come one, two. Those days are fun, you know. So just imagine now in that digital aspect. I'm not seeing the fun. I'm not seeing the fun with the children having fun in today's society. Because
Hmm.
back then it was more interactive to learn and so forth. Now you
Yeah.
just go in front of a screen. That's
Hmm.
basically it, you know. So you're being hypnotized because screens are a means of hypnotizing people, you know,
Yeah.
when you're in front
Yeah.
of a screen and so forth. So you
Hmm.
realize they become hooked to it and they can control it and such. So your brain is actually not working you're supposed to work in.
Yeah.
It's more in
Yeah.
a passive state than an active state. When
Hmm.
outside and go out and just get 10 stone and coming back in the stone and you back up over them and you count them out and you say, all right, and you knock yourself and say one, two, and you count. You know, those days were fun and interactive. But you know, that was
No,
in
that's
my
true.
time. We're not
That's
so
true.
far,
That's
far.
true.
So yeah, that was I
And
used to do that. So
and
those days were fun.
our days were more, the interactive kind of stuff.
Yes,
Your days
yes.
they were transitioning,
Transitioning, right?
because I always have a problem with the way things were done. Remember the common entrance days.
Yes.
I'm a common entrance baby. Um, and I noticed they changed the way they approach educating. You know, it's more like a business today than
Yes. Yes.
really being focused on educating the children. I noticed, well, back in our time, you used to have, like, as in the resource books and stuff,
Hmm.
you had like four main subject areas, and just four books,
Right.
you know, um, and those books would be brought forward to the next year and the next year and the next
Mhm.
year. So I may be in grade one,
Yes.
a person may be in grade six or
Right.
nine.
Right.
But when I get to grade six or nine, it's the same
Same
books
book.
that those
Right.
persons using.
Yes.
But now I
Yes.
notice it's more a business.
Yes.
I write my own maths book, and
Mm.
somebody in the system knows me, and my maths book sell this year. So it's on
Wow.
everybody's book
Wow.
list. Next year the book list changes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
every year the
Yes.
book list change,
Yes.
and the prices
It
keep
gets
getting
higher.
higher and
It's a
higher and
business,
higher.
man. It's a business.
So I can't pass on my child cannot pass on his books, his set of books, to another child the following year. It's a
Right.
new set.
Right.
So it's more a business more than it is education. I always have a problem with it.
Mm.
And I keep saying that, if the children today were to receive the education that I received in the 80s, they
Mm.
would be way brighter.
Yes.
I
Yes.
always say that. But people are going to debate that. So I say it cannot be so, because
True.
more is a nowadays
Yes,
is
it's
a
more
more
advanced.
more
That's
advanced.
what they're saying, and the technology
Hmm.
is what is helping them to get better.
Yeah.
But in fact, it is what is helping them to recede
Hmm. And
than
while
actually helping them to get
while
better.
in grade six, I used to do maybe, like, say, 5 subjects. Now they
Yes,
are doing
yes,
14 and
yes,
more.
yes.
So they're gonna say that these people are bright, and the
But,
works
but,
and the
but you know,
works.
before you go
Hmm.
on, Becky, we have to understand that this is a joint collaborative effort.
Yeah.
For Satan, it
Hmm.
is Satan. Remember, no, Satan is the one who implemented all this digitized society that we have now. Everything digital
Hmm.
was orchestrated by him. The means by which he came with this is for us to neglect prayer and study of the scriptures. Back how children used to read and write was from the Bible. No, even the
Mhm.
Bible now. No. Everything is digital and on-screen has so many distractions on that thing. And you put it into a digital set. The children in mind gone already in
Yeah.
this generation, yet you go give them that tool like the tablet and so forth for your so-called enhancing education. So
Yeah.
just imagine everything but got eradicated from them mind, even
It is so
devotions them are cut out of certain schools.
It's so true.
No, and so forth. So you realize that this is indeed the last generation that shall exist on this earth.
And if a child were to say, "All right, I'm gonna take up the Bible," the devil made sure that he provides one on
Yes,
that
yes, on the
system.
tablet, yes.
So you can speak to a Jesus, a
Whoa,
AI
AI
Jesus,
Jesus, God bots, they
or
call them. Whoa,
yeah, you can read the AI Bible and all that
whoa,
kind of stuff.
whoa,
So it makes sure that all of those are in
whoa.
place.
Whoa,
So
it's really gone.
the parent can say the child is not,
Yes,
soaking in
soaking in,
or
yeah.
taking in
Whoa.
a lot of godliness. You would want to call it,
And they can go on the
but
metaverse.
yes, and do all that kind of fun
Mm.
stuff. you know. So you are having fun while you are being educated concerning, maybe
Whoa.
godliness, so-called godliness. Continuing, the education minister said, we don't have to wait for a report from the school. We can pull that information.
Mm.
With this system, the central ministry will be able to work with school leadership to more effective bridge gaps, track students' progress, and provide targeted intervention to those most in need, which seems to be a very good thing, you know. And then they mentioned the whole food security thing,
Mm-hmm.
and ensuring that they will know exactly what is happening with the food that has been shared, through the path and all that kind of
Yes,
stuff. The
yes.
feeding program, they will be able to know if it's the students are getting the food, and yeah, tracking, they will be able to track the whole meal distribution and
Mm.
identification of nutritional gaps, which sounds positive. She went further to say, um, it had to do with the sustainable development targets
Of course.
for zero hunger and quality
What? Why
education.
not?
So that's the target. Now, it is surprising to note that the the Seventh Adventist Church, based on things that came out of this workshop that was held in Senton, March 24 to
The same time.
26, 2025. Yes, next door to you. That their thing is also sponsored by the world. World sponsors it. It says that the all right, there we go. It says the office of the children's registry,
Yes,
which is Jamaica based, the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
yes.
They're also a part of it. Um, it says ADRA is a part of it also. There's a bigger one. There's a bigger one. But all of these are things that the world put together, our government put
Yes, put
together
together. And the church adapting it.
throughout, yeah, through exterior agencies, and they said that, listen, you need to have these kind of meetings, and you are the ones who are going to be responsible, because there's another serious part of it that says, the Adventist Church. All right, let me reference somebody here. It says Bagwandat vessel, sorry, vassal, Bagwandat vassal. And who this person is? Bagwandat vassal is the head of the CPFSA. That's it.
Oh, the same thing I
Yeah,
mentioned for the child.
that's a child protection
Yes.
and family services agency. Um, at that meeting, she says that she calls on the Adventist Church to continue playing an active role in
Yes.
identifying and reporting abuse cases to the CPFSA, while, listen carefully, while implementing policies to ensure children's safety. Now, who in Jamaica implements policies?
Mm-hmm.
The
The
government,
government, of course.
the cabinet
Yes,
implements
yes.
policies,
Legislature and
that
the
that
executive.
that kind of thing, laws and all that. They are saying she's saying continue playing, speaking to the Seventh Day Adventist Church, continue playing an active role in identifying and reporting abuse cases. Now that is your job. It's one of the many jobs that you have.
Yes.
And I know I don't want to believe, well, I've not seen it yet where this kind of thing, these kind of workshops were had with other denominations, you know. It says keep identifying and reporting cases to CPFSA while implementing
So,
policies.
so,
Yes.
so, you know what you just read here.
Mhm.
Keep implementing or keep reporting it to the CFSA.
Yeah.
What comes to my mind, I think, oh, it's what, SDC. One of those companies that were saying like when they come out there, they want to know if they don't see a person who lives there. It's a
Hmm.
snitching type of thing. I know they had that in during the pandemic. The pandemic.
Okay.
You
Hmm.
snitch out to your neighbor.
Hmm.
So if you say, yeah man, call it, yeah, you know, say
I
him then
report
probably
them.
then give you incentives to back it up or so forth. So you start to
Hmm.
report and it's coming back, you know.
Yes.
Boy, it's coming. But I think it's also know when you say it's
And
coming back, you know.
and I've heard of instances where during the pandemic, you know, persons in the Adventist church who failed to wear the mask, you know,
Yes.
they were reported.
Yes.
Head of the
Yes.
church, the
Yes.
local church, reported them to the
Police.
police. Police came for them, and you know,
Snitching on your brother, eh?
yeah, yeah. Now you're going to
For a
implement
mask.
policies to ensure
Wow.
children's safety. And your idea of children's safety is your focus on education, access to
Access.
education.
Right.
So if a child in this time and age, if a member of a church decides to keep that child at home and to homeschool
Mm.
because he or she may consider what the child would be receiving in the government institutions um, may not be suited, you know,
Yes.
unsuitable. Um, you choose to keep that child at home and you choose to educate that child. And then you may have, you know, the writings of the prophetess Ellen White to, or the choice you make. Then that child will be reported to the government, you know, who will identify and report
Mm-hmm.
that child. It says
Your neighbor.
the Seventh Day Adventist institution. That's what it
Oh.
says.
Wow. Wow.
The active role is identifying and reporting these cases.
But Becky, these
Implement
children.
policies. So if what we are offering you is not good enough, then you
Right.
can implement policies.
Mm. These children have to be the future of the world, I say, right? The
Yes.
future. The future we see in the future here. What future do these children have in this kind of society? With this type of learning and this kind of things that happen, what kind of future we see for these children?
It's just the future that they want,
What kind of society are
you
they
know.
building with that kind
Mhm.
of mindset that they have now coming up?
Because if you these kind of children are you place in these children,
Mm-hmm.
um, you consider it nothing good because this digital society,
Yes,
what it has to offer to these children, does not make them better in any way.
exactly,
You understand?
exactly,
You're actually destroying them.
and not only that, I'm looking at the fact
Hmm.
going back to the old times, the old parts. The Bible
Hmm.
talk about that repairs and the breach. The old time we used to have fun and more interactiveness where learning was concerned.
So
We had
true.
all this
So true.
digital thing that we have now. So I'm saying I'm looking to the future now. If there were to be a future for these children,
Hmm.
there wouldn't be any interactiveness of any sort with these children because even though it's called social media,
Yeah.
they are the most anti-social type of people that can meet upon. It's called social media now. They're so anti-social. When they go there now, all right. What I'm seeing brewing between them now,
Yeah.
competition. Is that the future they're looking for? Competition. Who want to look better than who are supposed to then go to the internet and the media to bring up all this competition thing and these what do I call them challenges and anything between each other.
Yes.
So is that the future? Don't you think a better future would have been had if we had the old type of learning scheme that we had before, where we had more interactiveness between each person and the brain was being built and so forth than now. Other they just go in front of one screen. Remember, many jobs you know in front of one screen and tablet. You just a scroll till you're tired. People depend on work.
Uh-huh.
Job then you know. If they get 5 minutes free time, they go on TikTok. Who gonna scroll? Who gonna make
Yeah,
video? Who gonna make
because you
reel?
want
Who
to
gonna
free
do
the
this?
mind, you know.
Freedom mind from what? Mental slavery.
You know, understand. You know, it brings relief. You know, brings
Mm.
relief, stress relief, all kind of
It's
relief.
just to live
Because
in what way?
nowadays we're also stressed. All right. To close on this
Yes,
workshop,
yes,
it says the workshop also featured key presentations, including an overview of child protection policies,
yes.
the ADRA child safeguarding policy. You know ADRA?
Actually, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Adventist Development
Yeah,
and
man.
Relief Agency. That agency that takes care of many things, funded by USAID. All right. The Agile Child Safety Policy, the
Yes.
psychological, emotional, and social effects of abuse on children. And lastly but not least, the importance of data protection in safeguarding children. Data protection in
Yes,
safeguarding children. No, I want to run away when I hear that because they are focused on the whole data protection.
yes.
And the government is also focused on data protection.
So once you hear data protection, that simply means that they'll be gathering data from
Yeah,
the children. And
yeah.
remember, you know, but to understand this as well, no listeners.
So you can track and keep
Right,
them in line.
right. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not the only thing I'm seeing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Once you hear about data protection with children, that means it's going to involve the parents as well as guardian, whoever. Because remember, you
That
know,
is so.
children spill the beans and they'll give them incentives, they talk to them, especially if they
Yeah.
see us somebody they trust, like a teacher,
Mm-hmm.
and they asking me, so who live at your home? Why you do this? And you just start talk. You know, my mother, you do because you
Yeah.
see it as an
Yeah.
innocent thing and you know no harm. So all this kind of data is gonna be fed back into the system,
So
into
true.
their command and control centers
Mm-hmm.
that they have in
Yeah.
all over
Yeah.
this island and so forth. So all of this data and the same protection, they're
Mm-hmm.
invading the privacy. That's the first thing I do, invading the privacy of people. I wanted to understand where this digitized economy is. That economy, digitized system
Yeah.
is going to and why they having everything going digital is to
Mm-hmm.
control. But you know, when you go further
But
down in
yeah,
the study, you'll find out what I'm talking about.
your privacy, but then you have so many smart gadgets in
Yes,
the house.
yes,
You're
exactly.
avoiding that, but you have a smart home and a
Smart fridge,
smart fridge
smart
and
TV,
smart TV,
everything recording Siri.
and you have the lights, the
Yeah,
pretty
smart
lights.
lights. Yeah,
So
they have
then
the remote light. Them do you know?
they still know everything,
Yeah, man, everything.
you know. Um, yeah, Buzz Giant says it best, you know. There was this article that was published on the 13th of March in the Jamaica Cleaner, where he says, when working smarter makes us dumber. Just to add to some of the things that you were saying
Right.
earlier. He says that when people feel like they can rely on AI, their critical engagement drops significantly. They stop questioning, they stop analyzing, they stop verifying information
Mm-hmm.
because everything is just
There.
given. Yeah, it's
Everything
just
is
there.
there. Right.
And since AI doesn't think like a human, it merely predicts patterns based on existing data.
Yes.
This means we are outsourcing originally, creatively, and problem solving. Sorry, this means we are outsourcing originality,
Yes.
creativity, and problem solving to a machine that doesn't actually know anything. So originality is gone through the window. So too is our creativity
Yes.
and our
Yes.
problem solving ability. It says, in short, the Microsoft study confirmed that we are helping AI to replace us. Every time we let ChatGPT finish our sentences, compose our emails, or summarize an article instead of reading it to ourselves. We can actually read,
Yeah, man.
yes, but we don't do that anymore.
No, we don't need to.
So it does all of that for us. We are
Oh.
actively eroding our ability to think critically, and ironically, critical thinking, the ability to think differently, analyze
Mm.
deeply, and problem solve creatively is the one skill that could save those jobs that the very AI is eroding.
Yes. Yes.
So we no longer think, and I worry much about children in schools because we give them a tablet, and whenever they need research is done and stuff. And I saw this thing being built up for a while now, and I said, but why? Why though? You remember? Well, I remember in when I was in high school, you used to have some projects that would require you having to go to the library,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
look in the
Yes.
encyclopedias, and you get some information, and you compile it, and you present it, and the teacher gives you an 80+%, you know, or a 90. But you see, the information wasn't a lot of information. It
Yes.
was a small amount that you were able to study, become acquainted with, so you can be successful in your exams, because it will be coming on your exams.
Yes.
Now, these things that I see happening nowadays. Good morning, good harvest. Good to have you on. These things that I see happening nowadays, you are told to design a plaza, an
Mm-hmm.
entire plaza. Um, well, consider it an entire community, you could say,
Yes.
because you have a plaza there, so, and you have one police station over there, so, and the post office,
Mm-hmm.
and the streets and stuff. You are told to design that. I don't know why. So now you have to outsource your thing, and you have one like an architect person in your
Yes.
family, and
Yes.
then build it out for you, and you carry it to school and put it in the classroom. How you get edification from that? Don't ask me. So everybody come with them plaza,
Mm-hmm.
design them plaza and something.
Yes.
And everybody come with that in a class, and then at the evening the teacher don't want to see it again. So you
No,
have to
no,
get rid of it.
yeah. That none of use again.
Why that extensive kind of something? And then
Yes.
you do some assignments that you have to go on AI. You
Yes.
go and you do a
Yes.
big research, and you come back with sheets of information.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot study that in preparation for an exam.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what is the purpose of all of this? And you understand no, because all of this was leading up to the whole chat GPT
Yes.
kind of
Yes.
story, where you can just speak and you get all the information.
Everything you need.
The thousands of stuff. I used to ask myself, why are you putting the children through all of that? Every week you come with a project, and then your parents have to spend these thousands of dollars to get the thing done.
Mm.
And at the end of the class, the end of the day,
No needed.
you need to get rid of it.
They should have had. They should have had from that time
Mhm.
vocational training.
Now, what I'm used to in the classroom, the teacher teaches something. Everything you need to know,
Yes.
that teacher shares the information with you. Put it on the blackboard, write in a chalk and stuff. Mhm. They teach you everything you need to know. You don't need to research anything. I'm serious. When I met about primary school.
No man.
Grade 1 to 6.
I had that in
We not go
primary school
library
as
for
well.
nothing. We go library for get one book for go and go read.
All right.
You rent one book and you go and go read. The teacher tells you
Yes. In
everything.
primary school at Saint Elizabeth, I didn't go to the library. I don't even know where the library is. So but then what used to come around and you use something for you is a library truck. A truck used to come around with books.
Well, you have the mobile stuff.
Yes.
No,
it was a truck. A truck used to come around. So when the truck comes to school now, we flat the truck out, reading book. Read. Everybody want a book to read. But then when I used to the gadgets things at school, in lunchtime we're gonna run up and down and play and so forth. In the same blackboard and chalk, then the face out now carry no mark and whiteboard and do it.
Yes.
So but then it was the same blackboard and chalk, and everything we needed, we got it. Smart board, that gone, smart board. Man, everything we needed, we got it in class. It was taught us everything we needed, exam and otherwise.
And you pass with flying
colors. Of course.
But no, the information is 50 times the amount.
Yes.
You understand? And the teacher sends you home to do everything.
Yeah, they do minority of the work are none at all. They don't want it to do. Why do it when technology can do it?
And they tell you they are that stressed. The teachers are so stressed.
Yeah, man.
I say, but you never give me anything. So what caused you to be stressed?
I remember in high school, it was grade 10 and 11. Yeah. And this teacher, a biology teacher, I did the sciences. And if you look in my biology book from that time, about less than 5 pages of information on it. I'm a visit 60 and so forth. No teach class, just come in, put work on board and gone. I'm like, whoa.
When I said you have a textbook, so
Yeah, me had the textbook, the rental and
yeah,
stuff, and
man.
just put work on
Mm-hmm.
board and gone. And this and for majority at the semester and stuff, we had no teacher in that area to teach us that kind of subject.
Yeah,
So I realized they have to study on own. So they're not really, when I teach them, they don't really do no work with the students. I
man,
mean,
it's unfair.
because guess what, I teach them, they on TikTok themselves, so then
Mm-hmm.
they on the whole of the social media things. Them. Not all them say, but many of them, because you have many young teachers in place now, just as how you have police.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
look at the police, them, it's the same thing with them. You see them who cock up on bike, on phone. This are going in front of them and they not even know. 'Cause I think some see them, I tell you.
Yeah, yeah,
The
man.
police
It
are on bike,
happens.
on phone, and scroll through, and I say,
It
who
happens.
you look on so?
It happens. And now you have what is considered a teacher shortage.
Yes.
And you ask yourself, is this a planned thing? Is this done intentionally? And you have to think that this thing is done intentionally because the aim is not necessarily to educate the children.
Yes.
You know, the aim is not to educate the children. The aim is to the whole same thing.
Yes, it's for the agenda
Yeah, man.
that is set in place. We need them to be dumb enough, Becky. We can't get them to.
That's the thing.
All right, I learned
That's the
this.
thing.
I learned this from a noble speaker who said that when they try to find it, we say when you have knowledge, the government fears you, but
Yeah.
when you don't have knowledge, they control you. So that is something we're seeing happening in our society now.
Mm-hmm.
That without knowledge, you're easy to be controlled
So
by the
true.
government, but with knowledge, you put up resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And with resistance, we get people on your side because people want to fight for the truth. So when you don't have nothing, when the government keep everybody in a stupor and not knowing anything, it's easier to control them with what's happening. And we see that is exactly what they're trying to put in place now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They say they're getting it smarter, introducing smarter, but indeed they're allowing you to become dumber. Because I know you think they go if it them not go pan if you learn. Them a go pan it pan and tick, them a go pan this and that. You think they know so them a go pan and things
They
and that's Sykes.
they
You
have
think they
free
know?
internet.
And
Yeah.
then they get free Wi-Fi. They know that's what they do. Because during the pandemic that was the height. The persons then said TikTok rise up to fame or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you had over 2 years from all these social media things. You think you can get that out of them so easily? And they were so hooked on it before and you'll give them back the same things that they need. Pick up on it. No man, I want to implement it within the rural areas especially. So yeah, ensure that everybody is hooked on this system. So
Yeah.
everybody is supposed to be a part of this thing. So the dumber you are, the easier you are to control.
That is it.
That is what
That is
they're
it.
aiming towards people.
Mm-hmm. Good Harvest says nowadays they say children must construct their own knowledge. Lessons are to be student centered. Teacher must tell them. Yeah, yeah. So she's adding to what we were saying,
Yes.
you know, that the children and the children are the ones who are to do all of the work, you
Yeah.
know. The children should teach themselves.
Yes. Construct their own
Instead of
knowledge.
going in front of a teacher to be taught, you know, you're the one who end up have to teach yourself. And then the parents are so busy,
Yes.
you know, there's less attention given.
With understanding of Becky, everything that is within this world that is happening, Satan designs it
No
to
man,
be
it
so.
it is well designed.
Yeah, man, well designed to be so. The business of
Designed.
everybody in this world, it was designed, or the workforce is set up for you to be so employed in work and so forth. You never have time for yourself.
Yeah.
So you realize you start leave at work and you visit your home. Might as well just carry a pillow, your mattress or whatever can work, and find a local place and sleep. Because by the time you lie down in the morning, you have to go back to work again.
Yeah.
So instead of paying the extra fee, but just get one bed and one pillow and carry down your workplace. So we realize that Satan designed it in such a way because we were never supposed to be at this junction where we're a slave to the system.
Right.
We have to be working hours, back on hours. You have to work at 10 jobs to pay, just to pay off some bills, your rent, your light bill, or whatever. You know, many persons out there will understand what I'm saying. So you realize that this was never a system that God implemented or a system that He intended for us to have. It was a system designed by Satan for Satan's agenda.
So
The less
true.
time
So
you
true.
can have, or he can get you to have upon the word of God or reasoning his knowledge or so forth,
Yeah.
he gets you in his snare. And so you are overcome by his temptation or his attacks. So that is why people lose trust and faith in God.
Yeah.
They lose it because they don't know how to exercise it. You cannot exercise it because you're bombarded with things to do. You have this to pay, school fee to pay, you have rent to pay, you have light bill, you have water bill, you have mortgage. All them is something that bombarded brain. You know, I know about you, so about the money we have to get to pay them something. That's how the man and sit and designs it to be that way.
Yeah.
You gotta stop for a minute and have what's the word now? Fervent prayer. Because the Bible says, James 5:16, the fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. If you could stop for a minute to offer a fervent prayer to God, you will realize how marvelous He would work on your behalf. But because Satan constantly bombards you, even have time to think about that. So everything is just before you all at once. And that is what they're doing with the same education system.
Wow.
With the children, you bombard them all these things on social media. So you get the tablet or whatever in school, you're not business about nothing. You don't even want to learn again. You not even want to learn again.
So you get them accustomed
Yes.
to the whole
That is the point.
digital transformation,
Yes.
and you also transform them.
Yes.
So they become enabled,
Yes.
They are
Yes.
able now to communicate with,
Yes.
the Internet of Things.
Yes.
And they feed right into what the devil's plan is,
Yes.
that he
Yes.
has orchestrated so excellently, you know. Revelation 13, everything goes back to Revelation
Yes, man.
13,
Of course.
and he calls it all both small and great, free and bond. Verse 16 and 17 of Revelation 13. Um, he calls
Rich
it
and
all,
poor.
both rich and poor, free and bond, small and great,
Yes.
to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell save he that has had the mark,
Yes.
or the name of the
The
beast,
number of his
or the
name.
number of his name. Whenever he gets you to that point, he'll be able to control you.
Yes.
And they're trying in so many ways to um, replace or to get rid of a mind that focuses on God
Yes.
to one that focuses on anything else, on everything
Yes.
else
Yes.
but godliness. And if
Yes.
if the devil can get your mind, then he has you.
Yes.
And if he can get the mind of the children, we are always told that children are the future.
Yes.
If he can get the mind of the children, then he has the future
Yes.
locked a particular way, right? He can now control the way things are done going forward. And if he gets the mind of the children, then it is so easy to have the parents.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. So true.
Because the parents are the ones that ensure that the children get everything that they need. They invest so much into the children, and that they becomes also captivated. You know.
I know. Just to give it before I give
Mm-hmm.
my point, give my
Mm-hmm.
points. I give my lesson.
Yeah.
Just to touch a little
You're a
bit.
teacher.
A year one, yes. Before we go into that aspect, another segment, and I see we here where it ties in with what you're speaking about as well, the teachers,
Yeah.
Because now I'm thinking, is this why they're giving the children all these gadgets and good obviously as a teacher saying that the children must construct their own knowledge?
Mm-hmm.
Because here it says, it's from the journal. It says that Bill Gates predicts AI will replace doctors and teachers within 10 years, but humans still have a role. So it's a AI takeover debate,
Yeah.
which jobs will survive.
Mm-hmm.
So let me read a little bit of the article for you to hear, people. It says that when Bill Gates speaks about technology's future, the world listens. You hear that?
Okay.
When he
Okay.
speaks
Yeah.
about the future of technology, the world
Yeah.
listens, and they have to listen because this man has so many crimes against humanity and he's still not in jail. You understand? So the world have to listen. It says that in a candid interview on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon,
Yeah.
the Microsoft co-founder dropped a bombshell. Within a decade, AI will make human doctors and teachers far less necessary. Far less necessary. His reasoning, expertise is currently rare and expensive. That is, So from doctors, it's rare and expensive. Whether it's a world-class surgeon or a gifted educator,
Yeah.
but with AI advancing at breakneck speed, Gates believes great medical advice and tutoring will become free and commonplace. And it says here the era of free intelligence. Gates calls this shift the dawn of free intelligence, a world where AI democratizes access to services that were once limited by human bandwidth and cost. Imagine AI doctors diagnosing a rare disease faster than any human. AI doctor, virtual tutors personalizing lessons for every student 24/7, robot pharmacists filling prescriptions with zero errors.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
profound, even
Really now.
scary, Gates admitted to Harvard's Arthur Brooks. There's no upper limit to how transformative this could be. So the question was asked, will AI replace humans or just make us more efficient? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna stop there. It goes further down, but you know, I'm got too much in this one. So we see where we're trending, or where the world, not we, where the world is trending,
Yeah,
Becky,
yeah,
and our listeners out there. We're trending to an AI revolutionized society
yeah,
because
yeah.
we're seeing now where they're predicting AI to take over jobs of doctors and teachers. So now I'm seeing why the students must construct their own knowledge, because then is AI are gonna be taking over, and if then depend you look at tablet and so forth, and that feed them AI. So that
Wow,
simply means that
wow.
you have no need for teachers again. And if our robot you're gonna have in front of you are the actual app, some app the mother use on the phones and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
you learn your lessons or whatever. So
Um, well, I see things are trending away now,
yes,
where it seems the trajectory,
yes,
it's as if education will take place at home,
yes,
but will still be supervised by the Ministry of Education.
yes,
You still have the teachers, just as though during the pandemic,
yes.
there were, some home thing happening, some online things happening. We may see that happening very shortly, not too long from now. I see some things, they keep popping up, and every time it pops up, I make note.
Mhm.
Because when things are brewing, you don't want the cork to open
Yes,
up, and
yes.
the excitement affects you, so you take yourself away before it happens. I see where they are pushing, like, this measles thing.
Oh, virus.
Yes, man. You hear the measles thing keep popping up, and it jumped in the Caribbean the other day. I think
Mm.
there were a few cases in Trinidad. Yeah, I see where they want to push the measles thing.
Get
It's
get
happening a lot in
get
England.
some research on it
Now,
because
I have it, but
okay.
I just didn't take it to
Oh
war with me today.
no man, no man. We use that for another study
Because, yeah,
because I
yeah,
have something to speak on,
yeah,
not with the
man,
measles,
yes.
but it's with the same
Mhm.
pandemic thing. Because I probably feel like they're planning another pandemic
Another
in.
demic, yeah.
Yes, man, another pandemic. So I have something on that as well.
Mhm.
I want to look at. So you can bring, man, you can collaborate it
Yeah,
and
yeah.
educate the people on what's happening.
But
So yeah, go
it,
ahead, go
it,
ahead.
it, it seemed to me as though they want to use that one,
Yes, the
to
measles.
create a thing where we go on lockdown again.
Yes,
So
yes.
when you have everything in place,
Mhm.
everything in place, when this lockdown comes around or takes place, then
Yes,
you won't have a problem.
yes,
You're just able to go right into it.
exactly. And
You
the
know?
lockdowns are brewing,
Yes, man.
because you realize that the planes are still crashing. They're not stopping up. Remember what spoke about the planes them still are crashing up people.
Yeah,
So planes are still
yeah.
crashing all over the world. Same way. They don't stop. So, just take
Mhm.
a look into it, and everyone can revisit this page on the
Yeah,
YouTube, the Blessed Hope Review, and look back on the one where we spoke about the airplane crashes
yeah.
and some thoughtful reasons behind why we might be having so many airplane crashes at such a time, such frequent rate of plane crashes at such a time as
So
this.
true.
I'll just answer this question and go into my segment. It says that is the next decade in the next decade, AI will make rich men irrelevant.
Oh,
It's a
exactly.
statement there.
Mm,
Okay, my thing is that Revelation, Becky, say Revelation 13 we've been reading.
yeah,
The Bible says, rich and poor, free and bond, will be on the earth. So it
yeah,
simply means that the middle class will have been eradicated.
yes.
What we have to understand is that there's a difference between rich and super rich. Who will be on the earth, who will have access to means, is the super rich.
Super
And you have
rich.
the
Yeah.
super rich and you have the super poor.
Mm-hmm.
Our definition of rich is not rich. We don't know not name rich. We've never
Yes.
been in that class. So look, the richest man in Jamaica is not named Rich.
Yes, the Jamaicans are
Yeah,
not
they're not
rich.
named Rich. The
No.
richest person, the Bill Gates, they consider them rich. They man are not rich yet because they don't control them money. I will
Yeah.
control them money rich. You understand? So, yeah,
Seriously.
like the Vatican,
So the
them people
Vatican
they look as
rich.
rich. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
them people who control them, Rockefellers and the
Rockefellers.
Rothschilds.
Those
Those
are
persons you
rich.
look on as rich. So you have those who are existing on the super poor, the super rich, and the super poor. 'Cause remember, they are the one who are generating this AI, implementing this AI thing. So you
Yes.
cannot make them irrelevant because they are the one who are bringing it into being.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we are the ones who become irrelevant in this age and society.
Oh, but
Versus that they're being sarcastic. Okay, all right.
thank you, my active listener.
Okay, so the reason why, as
Yeah.
well, listeners, we stress on revelation.
Uh-huh.
And Revelation 13 is simply because it's revealing these things to us now.
Yeah.
We're at that point in time's history where this is where we are in the Bible. We're at the feet of the statue,
Yeah.
the feet of iron and of clay. And that is why we have to stress on revelation in every topic or every time we come up here, because that is
So
where we are
true.
in Earth's history, and that
So
is what
true.
speaks about what to expect in this time that we're living in.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to look at the digital economy that's going on, Becky. So
Yeah.
this was for April 7,
Yeah.
2025. It says that digital banking push Jamaican banks hike branch fees and keeps online costs low. The article states that Jamaicans who rely on in-person banking are facing steeper costs this year.
Mm-hmm.
According to new central bank data, CBD, central bank data, as major institutions hike fees for branch transactions while keeping digital payments largely unchanged, a move that could be designed to push customers towards online services. So they
Yeah.
are coercing customers to go on online services. The Bank of Jamaica's latest schedule of Jam Clear RTGS transaction fees reveals a widening gap between fees for branch and
Mm-hmm.
digital banking services across the island's financial institutions.
Mm-hmm.
This trend is particularly evident in the practices of major banks like NCB and VMBS. NCB, which is Jamaica's largest bank, has increased its personal branch transfer fees by 14%. So that means that from
Wow.
1400 to 1600, that's the personal banking. When you go in,
Yeah.
that amount of fee you pay over. No, listen now. While digital fees rose by only 7%. So they raise the regular personal fee twice
So
as much as the
discourage you.
yes, it's a discourage.
Yeah.
It's a tactic they're using,
Mm-hmm.
and they're even blatant with it. They're not hiding it. They tell you that it's a tactic they're using for you to go digital. Yet the government are telling us that this thing is not involuntary. But it's not voluntary. If it's voluntary, this kind of coercion. And they say that simply means that we can choose not to be in it, right? But at
Yes.
the same time, every means is being put in place where we have to be a part of it or become a part of the global exception. It says the bank has also introduced a $95 fee for corporate income transfers that were previously free.
Oh.
Yes, what is happening. I want to see
Mm-hmm.
where we are in the
Mm-hmm.
history of things, people. Defending these charges, NCB, in written responses to Jamaica Observer queries, explained the adjustments to our fees reflect the rising costs of providing secure, high-quality banking services while ensuring long-term sustainability. So wait, so but then they never secure. That's what they're trying to say to us. But then when they never rise, they never secure.
They're saying go digital without saying go
Yeah,
digital.
yes, that's what they're saying.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
digital is more secure, so go
yeah.
digital.
So they don't have to say it. They just push the file.
Right. It says we have sought to keep fees manageable while
Mm-hmm.
balancing the cost of in-brand services with the affordability and efficiency of digital banking options. So they are managing the regular personal ones, but they're giving you the affordability and efficiency of digital banking options. So they're saying, yeah, man, this is here, but These options are better for you to figure digital. It's better for you in every aspect that you need to know where your money is concerned. So they're coercing the mass of the public to go digital. However, concerns remain about the impact on elderly, low income, and vulnerable customers who may rely more heavily on branch services. People, hear what NCB had to say for these people. NCB addressed this by highlighting its Gold Club account for customers 55 and older, which allows fee-free in-branch withdrawals and transfers. Both NCB and VMBS emphasize their efforts to assist customers in transitioning to digital banking, offering one-on-one guidance and in-branch coax or however you pronounce that for online banking registration. So the elderly people, Becky, and the listeners out there, they were having um, problems, or I should say issues, in terms of branch fees. I know they don't really know if you use the card and pick up the online banking and so forth. I know what the response was from the banks, as we saw here, which is to give them a Gold Club account. So whether they like it or not, they might go get an account and they have to go online. That's what I'm seeing here. That is what is happening.
But then it's golden, so
it's gold. No matter how old you are,
you want to be a part of.
yes, you have to get an account. No matter how 55 and older, you have to get an account. Because as they say at the ending here, it's they emphasize their efforts to assist customers in transitioning to digital banking. So everybody has to transition to this digital banking that is happening. And further down in this, you're gonna realize how serious this is, and you're gonna get more information on them and why we need to go on this digital banking and why we're having the push. They said that the trend towards higher branch fees is not limited to these two institutions. So it's not only NCB and VMBS. The BOJ, Bank of Jamaica data shows that the average branch outgoing transaction fee across all institutions increased to $1,071.04 as of December 31st, that was last year, 2024, compared to an average online outgoing fee of $213.58. I want to see the difference between the two money they may say. So the average branch transaction when you go to the branch, I they $1,071. I want to do it online at $213. So about like 800 or 700 wholly more when I do it regular than to do it online. So I mean, everybody want to go online. Everybody want to save money in their hard times here, right? So we need to go online.
It's like an increase of 500%. When you look at the online one compared to that,
it's a big increase, a big
5%,
big rate.
500%. We need to save nowadays.
So everybody, we need to go.
To save as best we can.
So we need to go digital. But no worry, people, we're gonna look at the negative effects of this thing. It says, as Jamaica's financial landscape continues to evolve, the challenge for banks, regulators, and the policymakers alike will be to balance the drive for digital efficiency with the needs of all customers, ensuring that no one is left behind. Listen to this. Let me read that back here, because I think I hear him say. As Jamaica's financial landscape continues to evolve, so the financial landscape of Jamaica is evolving, the challenge for banks, regulators, and policymakers, or government to know, alike will be to balance the drive for digital efficiency with the needs of all customers. All customers, ensuring that no one is left behind in this digital banking revolution. So it's a revolutionary banking. So we're seeing that the end goal of all these people is to trap you on this system. It's obvious that that's what we're seeing. Why do they want everyone to be a part of this transformation, Becky? Unless it's to trap you. Why is it that everybody has to be on it? Why can't I opt out? Why is it you want me and my family to be a part of this? Even those who don't want to, they want them to be a part of it. As is stated by them, no one is to be left behind in this revolution of banking. So it's a change that will not only revolutionize Jamaica, but the entire world. And we're seeing that happening across the board now.
So true.
With the world. But why is it at this time, Becky, this is happening? You have this push to get everyone on the digital banking platform. Why is it at such a junction as we are now? in Earth's history.
Yeah.
Why they didn't push this couple years ago, 5 years ago or something? Why is it now? They might push this so hard every single day. They might push it. Forget it by this year. By this year, as a matter of fact, they want to go fully
Well,
digital, right?
time is of the essence, you know.
Like, all right,
Time
that
is of
yeah,
the
I'm gonna look
essence.
on the time. Why is it no that they
Mm-hmm.
need to do it? It's a well, it's what we've been saying time and time again. Revelation
Yeah.
13:17. I mean, just read that basically, and
Mm-hmm.
that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the
Of
number
his
of his
name.
name. The end of all things is here, people. That's what we wanted to understand.
So true.
The prophecies are
So true.
being fulfilled
Mm-hmm.
right in front of our eyes, and we're on the brink of a global crisis. Many family alone see the
Yeah.
crisis, you know.
Yeah.
We're on the brink of a global crisis. This no buy no sell narrative is linked to the digital system and the digital card that will be rolling out very
Wow.
soon. It is what will effectively distinguish those who are on the system versus those who are not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Furthermore, understand this also that it is what will be used to control you as an individual. Your spending, where, when, and how much will be controlled with this digital banking that you're having. To be on this digital system that is shortly being implemented means you cannot come off. We've said that over and over
Yeah.
again, and
Yeah.
it is what will lead you into accepting the mark, the name, or the number of the beast. Then you realize, just like with the pandemic, when you had to accept certain poison from the government, that there's a set who were allowed to buy and there's a set that could not.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, unless you accept the poison, you couldn't buy and you couldn't sell. Unless you had the mask, you couldn't buy, you couldn't sell. So that was only a stage run compared to what
Yeah.
was on. That was just temporary.
An effective
Yes,
stage run.
effective stage run, and that
Very
was only
effective.
temporary.
Uh-huh.
So what we're gonna have now, people, is something permanent because Satan's time is short, and if you wrap up this thing quick and fast,
Yeah.
and put that before we see how things would run, how the public would respond or react to it. Typical Hegelian dialectic. Now
Mm-hmm.
we see that we easily accept it. We reach such a point now where our brain we don't even think again. We just accept or come out. So the real thing is coming into effect now, which is these digital cards that are
Yeah.
coming out to
Yeah.
put you on this digital system.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference now is that this digital system is a real deal. It is what will seal your eternal destiny and test your faith in God.
So true.
After one accept these digitized ID cards, Becky, will come out in this in needs. After you accept this system which controls how you buy and sell, there's no going back to the regular state people. With cash, it will only get more stringent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we know that there's
Mm-hmm.
no going back to cash. So when we realize that there's no going back to cash, we know that this is the means now by which our living will get our living. So that is where we are supposed to be in the scheme of things when this digital thing is rolled out. So realize that this is what will cause persons to receive that mark, the
Yeah.
name, or the number of his name. Remember, people, we only have until July the 1st until the old cotton banknotes will be not legal tender anymore. Remember that news, eh? We have only until
Was
the
it?
1st of July.
It's first of July
Yeah, man, the 1st
for
of
the
July.
old notes.
The old notes to be
Oh, oh, I had
gone.
May in mind.
No, man, July. So we only have until July the 1st, people, until the cotton banknotes, the
Yeah.
old ones, will not be a legal tender anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine how soon after that, that the new Parliament notes that we have now will not be legal tender as well. Then you have a fully digital economy, just what the world is aiming for. I mean, when you look on it, no, Becky,
Yeah.
we can see where the new Parliament notes you have now are going to take a shorter time to be obsolete than the cut notes that we had before now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we had those cut notes decades now and they may just a few years. So and we see the push to digital now because back then the whole bad decades we have the old cut notes that we used to use.
Yeah.
Whenever seen a
Yeah.
big push, new notes and a digital thing. But you see this push for digital society every single day. Which simply means
Yeah.
that these polymer notes we're having now are gonna be by the time you blink, then
Before you
gone.
know it.
Before you know it,
Yeah.
there'll be no more existent.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've said this before on this platform, people that this thing is gonna happen faster than you know it. Warp rapid speed. That's what the Trump said.
Yeah. Warp
Warp
speed.
speed.
Yeah.
This is how fast this thing will be happening. And I believe I read it somewhere that they say it'll be moving faster than you can track it, basically. So too fast they move
Yeah.
with this thing, you can't keep track of what is
And
happening.
it's so easy for it to be destroyed. You know,
Yes,
you least touch it,
yes.
especially if you use,
Ring
you
up
know, the
and so.
elastic and go
Yeah,
and put over it,
yeah.
the tear
Tear,
easily.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, man, it's gonna
So
be phased out
you
quicker
realize
than the older
it's
new
not,
stuff
it's
like
not
that.
here for long.
No.
No, it's a means to an end.
Yes,
Mm.
yes. So I mean, it's to an end.
Yeah,
Now this one is from the New York Times, the 4th, April 4th, 2025. It
yeah,
says still receive paper checks from the government. That will soon end.
yeah.
And this is in America. It says that an executive order from President Trump will require government agencies to make electronic payments for tax refunds, social security, and other benefits as of September the 30th. So paper checks issued for tax refunds, social security payments, and other government benefits have been dwindling. You hear that? Have been dwindling and will soon be eliminated, potentially affecting hundreds of thousands of Americans.
Yeah.
President Trump signed, this man has signed a whole by executive orders. President Trump signed an executive order on March 25th,
Mhm.
directing the federal government to stop issuing paper checks as of September 30th. Instead, government agencies must make payments electronically by direct deposit to a bank account, debit card, or digital wallet.
So you see, as we shared
Mhm.
some time ago, that Jamaica is way ahead
Yes,
where that is concerned. Jamaica is far ahead
yes,
because
far ahead.
they are just at that point.
Yes,
You know, they are just at that place.
yes, we're past that stage
We
already.
passed that like years ago, many years
Yes,
ago. The
yes.
government no really issue the government no issue paper checks
No,
anymore.
most things are online.
No, you may find in some institutions, governmental institutions, but the head offices, no, everything is online.
Yes,
Everything
yes.
has been online from about, let me see if we can get a year, somewhere close by, but maybe 2017,
Mm,
somewhere there. So,
mm,
yeah,
yeah.
long,
Wow,
long, long.
wow.
Just after, little after 2015. So many things happened
Yes,
2015, you
yes,
know.
yes.
Little after, certain, what you call it, government institutions, their names change. They have name
Yes,
changes,
yes.
and then the policies change, and the way they approach things,
Change.
everything changes,
Yes.
you know. So for United States of America to just start those kind of things, yeah, man. I saw a document the other day, and I think I need to
Yes. Okay.
bring it to the fore.
Yes.
I don't have it with me here, but I need to bring it to the fore among four countries who are so advanced when it comes down to this digital transformation. Jamaica is among four,
Mm.
the four most advanced countries.
Wow.
And one of it says that Jamaica is leading. Part of the document says that Jamaica is
Mm.
leading. We had this discussion, myself and some church brethren, that Jamaica, they said that Jamaica cannot be leading based on A, B, C, and D.
Right.
And I always smile. I don't really contribute much to the conversation because sometimes when you know something,
Yes. Yes.
you are convinced about some things,
Yes.
it's hard for anything to really serve you, to change you. But when I saw that document, I said, okay, so I need to share that information with as many people as possible because
Yes.
Jamaica is far advanced.
Yes.
When I say far, it
Yeah,
is
man. Yeah, man.
far
Far.
advanced.
All right. I would have known as well, no, Becky. The Prime Minister of Jamaica
Yeah,
is setting Jamaica is set the fourth industrial logistics node. I don't know if how many persons know what that means. I'm
yeah,
gonna explain to you quickly. So what he's doing, a logistic node is like a hub, a centralized hub through which goods
yes.
and services pass through. So
Mhm.
he's setting up Jamaica to be the fourth worldwide industrial logistic node worldwide. So like you have three other one and you are the fourth in the
Yeah,
entire world.
yeah,
So we're gonna see in very short succession that many things in terms of being processed through our economy
yes.
or through the world have to go through Jamaica. Just like how many cars that are going to other countries and come to Jamaica as a hub, as a
Hmm.
sitting hub before they go to distribute or disperse to other places. Yes,
Yes.
we're gonna be at the fourth industrial logistics node. So he's looking at building massive warehouses and many projects, plazas are about the place through which we can process these goods and services to Jamaica. I didn't bring the article because I didn't really tie in with the digital thing, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that is the aim of what is happening, and it's a crucial point in what you just spoke on
Mm-hmm.
with leading with Jamaica leading out, and that is what we
So,
see now where they're leading out to become that industrial node where will be a central point for which goods and services come to and
yes.
are distributed are looked at and so forth before they are processed before they go out through the world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have our comment here that says, I know that you have moved on. Oh, but the Bible says, train up the child in the way, churches and the way, who was given the responsibility. And if God created the family, it means that Satan would want to destroy it. And it says, whose agent is the SDA? God's. Oh, whose agent is the SDA? God's
God
or
or
Satan?
Satan's?
There's a question. Whose agent is the SDA's?
Well,
Is it
you
God's
have.
agent?
We were explaining that last week, myself and Anthony, we were
Mhm.
explaining that last week, Thursday, that you you are seen as God's agent, as in
Yes.
the Seventh-day Adventist organization. You are seen, but then you choose to um, rub shoulders or
Yes.
to be acquainted with the world, and over a period of time, you become worldly.
Yes.
So that responsibility that you once had is no longer yours.
Yes.
That responsibility is given to another, and your role now becomes that of Satan.
Yes.
Satan starts using you now to accomplish his
It's his
purpose
purpose, right?
because you choose to accept him,
Yes.
right? You choose to be acquainted with him and his ways. So right now, the Seventh-day Adventist organization, and there's a difference between it and the church, but
Yes.
yeah, but the organization as we know it, um, the Jamaica Union, Jamaica
Yes.
Union of
Yes.
Seventh-day Adventists, which is the head of the one in Jamaica. Their role is to push everything that the Vatican
Yes.
should be
Yes.
carrying out. All of the things that the Vatican is carrying out currently. So they are like the chief agents of Satan currently. And people may ask, people may say, why are you saying this about Seventh Adventist Church? Because I'm not saying it about the church, I'm speaking about the organization that we know.
Yes.
That's their role, and the Bible supports it. You understand? That was their role in Jesus' time, and that was their role in the time of the apostles. It cannot change. It has
Yes.
always been, and it will be at this time. You need to focus on that. If you take your eyes off that,
Yes.
then you're gonna be deceived, and you're gonna be placed in a situation where, boy, yeah, if me didn't know, or
Yes.
I should have.
Yes. Yes.
But that's their chief role. They are the agents of Satan today.
Yes.
They are not God's agents.
But you know what? Look at it now, Becky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to call him whether looking at the church
Mm-hmm.
or the organization.
Yeah,
I think I want to stop calling them SDA. Cause now when you say SDA, you're looking for it towards the church.
so
So
true.
I look at it
So true.
as that group
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
is professing Christ, like professing God. Because the Bible says, listen, in 2 John 1, 10
Yeah,
and 11,
yeah.
the Bible talks about doctrine. So it doesn't bring this doctrine, which is the doctrine of Christ. It says you must not allow him in your house, or you must
Yes.
not bid him Godspeed. That because anybody that bids him Godspeed is
Mm-hmm.
partaker of his evil deeds. Now, no doctrines are the fundamental principles that governs anybody,
So true.
anybody of believers or anything at all. The doctrines. So if they're not partaking of the doctrines of Christ and his saints,
Mm-hmm.
proclaiming what he dictates is to be proclaimed now, that simply means that you're not the agent of God again, because you're not doing what God purposed for you to do or your mandate, which is to vindicate his character. So if you're not doing that, that simply means that you're an instrument of Satan, because it's Satan's bidding that you're doing. So
Yes.
that means you're
Yes.
just a group professing to be God's people, but you're actually not.
Mm-hmm.
Or the Bible says those who say they are Jews but they are not, but make themselves of the synagogues of Satan. There's a situation like that. So now when me hear SD, or if somebody comes there and say yeah, Seventh Day
Oh, yeah,
Adventist,
Seventh
they
Day
not think about
Adventist.
church, and they need to know what church mean organization. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody know the difference. So I just said that group. Yes, I'm saying you know when I hear SD, I'm thinking about the church, Seventh Day Adventist church. When I say now like that group that is professing to be Christ, me label amongst the rest.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Sunday people, the Pentecostal, the Baptist, me label against those because they don't believe in the full principles of the Bible.
mm-hmm.
Because the time we
Mm-hmm.
study the Bible truth and say they don't believe that yet it is in the same Bible what they read and they don't want to see it. But how you not believe what is in the same Bible you read? They can't pick up part and not believe part. You understand? So me
So,
label amongst the rest.
so yeah, I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, excellent point. I was saying because he caused us now to be digging up.
Yes.
Remember when I was talking about the meeting, the workshop that they had
Yes.
March 24 to 26
Yes.
in St. Anne.
Yes.
It's
Yes. You're telling us.
Seventh Adventist Church. I was saying they got their um, they have linked themselves with the world, as in European Union and all of that. I couldn't
Yes.
find the information. No, I have it. There's a publication Thursday, April 10, Jamaica Gleaner. It says United Nations, European Union partner to launch local youth advisory group.
Mm.
Partner to launch local youth advisory group. And it's detailed. Speak about the youth and the role that they should play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Let me see this part now that would speak to the talk about sustainable development and peace. The youth are supposed to push that because the partnership with the United Nations reflects that kind of goal. But there's a part that says youth will be selected for community advocacy leadership. Let me keep going. There's the part that speaks to that meeting. Um, Reinforce young people, they must be the heart of sustainable efforts, not that. All right, so members have been actively engaged in ongoing training in human rights, protection against exploitation and
Yes.
abuse, and other disciplinary disciplines facilitated by the United Nations and European Union. So this whole focus on young people and protection against exploitation and abuse, they were speaking that came out in the April 10 publication of the Jamaica Gleaner.
Yes.
But then this meeting was had with the Seventh Day Adventist Church in March. So many days before. Um, it says, as young leaders, your voices must always be heard, you must always be valued, and you must always be integrated in our collective decision-making framework. So we can see where it's because of, well, they are partnering with United Nations, European Union, and the youth representatives, signaling a renewed commitment to integral dialogue and cooperation. The Adventist Church is
Mm-hmm.
partnering with
Right.
United Nations, European Union, to push this kind of thing where they want to create policies and stuff to police the children, police them, ensure that they are doing exactly what the government says or the European Union says or wants to establish, you know um, take care of incidents of abuse, reporting to the police and relevant authorities. Their failure, or the parents' failure to educate the children the way the government wants them to be educated, or the world wants them to be educated. So they are the ones behind this push.
Oh.
But the Adventist Church now is the one that comes forward.
Mm.
You hear
To
it
go
first.
against
You
it.
hear it first
Yes.
from them before
Yes.
you hear it
Yes.
before you hear the actual plans, from the powers that
Yes.
be. And you find it strange. Why are they the ones that are always leading, that are always at the forefront,
I know.
pushing these things?
I know you look at it now, Becky.
Mhm.
It's Satan set up again. When you really look at it,
It is. Mhm.
logically and intellectually, Satan set up with the
Mhm.
church
So it's their
because
chief agent.
right,
It's
and not,
his chief agent,
right,
yeah.
and not only that, because based on what the comment you got there, and then look at the difference between Now we have the church,
Mhm.
and then they have the organization. So because they are moving away from the doctrines and the principles of God, the
Yeah.
organization. Now you have to be when you're supposed to come in now into the church and learn about Christ and His coming and
Mhm.
prepare. You have to differentiate now between the church and the organization. Because you want it. So it is Satan's you see how in Satan work, it is
Mhm.
Satan's means to confuse, So it delays, so it's like he give himself more time. So
Yeah.
I give
Yeah.
himself some more time to chop some more people because the church in this area now I wonder who are the church and who are the organization and this and that, who are go behind doctrine, who now go,
Yeah.
who have name, who not have name. So you understand, is all of this is his kind of setup to kind of buy himself some time
Mhm.
to get some more people on his side. While we out here, so I wonder who are the church versus who are not the church, who are getting information.
So you leave the people confused.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
his thing to leave. I see
Mhm.
that people are confused for real. Because people
Mhm.
are asking when you go out on the road. You know, see some Adventists come on the road and stuff, and you have to explain to them why you different than all sorts of things. You understand? So we see a system where it's supposed to be a smooth transition. You see, if we just go by what God called us, so they wouldn't have none of this happening.
Yeah.
But
So true.
Satan just they have to stick in head in a God business. They always have to stick in head in a God business to
Mhm.
bring about confusion and chaos. So I'm gonna continue reading people. Get back to the digital economy, but looks like we have to go. We have to continue next week. But once your family can reach next week, because I whole never realized that's more information I had
So
here.
this young man says the general conference. This person says the general conference is full of
Brother Vipers,
brood of vipers.
brother Vipers.
So it's like a what you call it? What you call it? It's a nest.
Honest, yeah. Wow,
It's a nest of vipers, not
wow,
one but many,
wow.
whose objective is to establish child protection committees across all levels of the church
But
by
let me
the
ask you
end of
something, Becky.
2025.
So when the man did come Jamaica again. After I come this thing come out there before.
It's after.
It's after.
It's after.
I also asked a long time and it slipped me.
So
I wanted to know
yeah,
when
man.
this thing came out because he
Mm.
came here to Jamaica
It's
with
two
one motive
what, two
to
Saturdays ago.
yeah man. He came out with one motive to address
Mm-hmm.
youth. The youth he came here to address,
Mm-hmm.
it was
Mm-hmm.
in the news article. The
About
youths,
youth
yes, youth
ambassadors.
ambassadors, right?
Yeah.
It's the youth, the young people he
Mm-hmm.
came to address. So now I heard you talking about this
Mm-hmm.
child thing with the youth. I said, no man, after
So,
this come out,
so United
you
Nations
know
is
we see
pushing
right.
it, European Union is pushing it,
Right.
and then the church is spearheading it. The Seventh Day
Yes.
Adventist Church is
Wow.
spearheading it.
Wow. Wow.
And he came to, what you call it, put his stamp of approval on it and
Yes.
say, listen, you're doing a
Well,
good job.
people, all I can say is that we're at the end of time. We're at the foot, we're at the toenail, as some would say,
And
of the feet and of clay.
and there's a man to look out for,
Mm.
his name is Nigel Pope.
Nice.
That group. Ganu Diab
Oh,
is,
okay. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't remember. Ganu Diab is the head of what again?
Oh, religious liberty.
Religious Liberty. So
Mm-hmm.
he's a Religious Liberty head in Jamaica.
Oh,
Yeah. So look out for him. He's the one who was active in putting together this seminar, the one held 24th to the 26th of May
wow.
for the child protective, and the child protection kind of thing. And there's
Yeah.
another thing out right now with him again being the head.
Mm-hmm.
It just look out for Nigel Cook. Just look out for Nigel Cook. We may
Wow.
spill that bean tomorrow.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So now just do a little bit more reading, people. But I want to next week. I'm gonna have to come back with the Jubilee year because they have some
Yeah.
interesting information on that for the Jubilee and the control thing as a Jubilee year for justice. And we're gonna see exactly how Revelation 13 verse 17 is playing out in our world now.
Uh-huh.
Because we're in the Jubilee year and we're moving warp speed in this Jubilee year. We're in April, almost in May already. So we're almost half the year and the things are not seeming to be going as fast as the governments are expecting them to go as fast.
Not seeming, eh?
Yeah, that's seeming to go
Okay.
as fast because
Okay.
everything would seem to be it's going as fast now,
That's a
but it's not seeming
deception.
exactly. That's the
Mhm.
deception
Mhm.
because it's not seeming to go as fast. So I'm gonna enlighten your eyes, open your eyes a bit,
Yeah.
Based on God's word to show you, based on this Jubilee year, what is really taking place. So I want to do that next week. But for now, we're looking at the digital economy. This one is from the White House. It says that the order mandates that effective September the 30th this year, 2025, the federal government will cease issuing paper checks for all disbursements, including intra-governmental payments,
Yeah.
benefits, vendor payments, and tax refunds. All executive departments and agencies must, so it is not a if or maybe a must transition to modern, and the same thing Jamaica say.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you must transition to modern electronic funds transfer methods like direct deposit, debit card,
Mm-hmm.
credit card payments, digital wallets, and real-time
Yeah.
transfers.
We did this a long time.
Exactly, so payments made to
Mm-hmm.
the federal government, such as fees, fines, loans, and taxes, must also be processed electronically where permissible under existing law. Treasury will phase out physical lockbox services and expedite electronic collection of federal receipts.
Yeah.
A comprehensive public awareness campaign will be launched to involve the federal payment receipts of the shift to electronic options and offer guidance on setting up digital payments.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you don't know if you do it, no worries, then we guide you into how to do it. Then I go tell you, say, you have another way out, because there's no other way out. It's either the digital way or no way. Is that they would say, is either my way, the highway, is
Uh-huh.
either America's way, the highway. You understand? So they'll guide you on how to set up digital payments. Exceptions will be made for people with banking or electronic payment access. Certain emergency payments, certain law enforcement activities, and others qualifying for an exception under the order or other existing law. It
Yes.
says the executive order does not establish a CBDC, that's what they say, but defending against financial fraud and improper payments. President Trump is cracking down on waste, fraud, and abuse in government by modernizing outdated paper-based payment systems that impose unnecessary costs, delays, and security
Yeah.
risks. Paper-based payments such as checks and money orders impose unnecessary costs, delay, risk, or fraud, loss of payments, theft, and inefficiencies. It says mail theft complaints, that is MAIL, that kind of mail,
Yeah.
have increased substantially since 2020. Historically, treasury checks are 16 times more likely to be reported lost or stolen, returned undeliverable, or altered than an EFT, which is electronic funds transfer.
Mm-hmm.
It has maintained the physical infrastructure and specialized technology for digitizing paper records cost the American taxpayer over 657 million in fiscal year 2024 alone. So you see why they need for go digital.
Yeah.
Check fraud is becoming more common, with banks issuing about 680,000 reports of check fraud in 2022. So now give all the list of why they need to go
Yes.
digital.
Yes.
So digital payments are more efficient, less costly, and less vulnerable to fraud. That's how you go. Modernizing the federal government. This is what they say now.
Sorry, feel.
President Trump is making government work better for the American people.
Mm-hmm.
President Trump has long championed the need for replacing outdated technology, saying government needs to catch up with the technology revolution. How was he mentioned it? I know the same Jamaican people talk about the same technology revolution. So we see where people that the kings are giving their power to the beast. Everybody's
Strength to the
saying they're
base.
all of one
Yeah.
mind, the Bible says. I think our Revelation, I think 13, they all have one mind and they give the power and strength to the beast. So seeing here where it really they all have one mind. Everybody wants to go with this digital, with this technology revolution, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a revolution people are seeing here that will bring about Christ's return. What we need to catch up with is not technological revolution,
True.
but how close we are to Christ's return. That's what we need to catch up with right now. People, this is a matter of generating the end of sorrows. This is a part of the smart cities criteria. Now, what is a smart city? We may ask. According to Solar Impulse, let me just read this one quickly for you. A smart city is an urban development using ICT,
Yeah.
which is information communication technology and Internet of Things, IoT, the Internet of Things, to provide useful information to effectively manage resources and assets. This includes data collected from citizens and mechanical devices that are processed and analyzed to monitor and manage traffic and transport systems, power plants, water supplies, networks, waste, this everything, etc. It uses ICT and IoT and includes data. Listen this now, and this go really start about Becky with even the children. It says it uses ICT and IoT, the Internet of Things.
Yeah.
Because we see that the children are being put on the Internet of Things now.
Mm-hmm.
And the data as well collected from citizens and mechanical devices, and they are used to monitor things.
The
You get that?
data collection.
That is what is happening
Yeah.
with the smart cities,
Mm-hmm.
That is what will be happening with the smart cities. They're collecting data to monitor things. Friends, if you don't get what I was saying before, let me spell it out. These smart cities are spying agencies. That's what they are. Privacy now will now be at the minimum, and guess what? Many persons will run with it, sacrificing their privacy for security. That's what they'll be doing now, Vicky. Sacrificing privacy for security. That's not even effective. These cities also stand out for these specificities. Yeah, smart management, lifestyle. You have mobility,
Mm-hmm.
you will have housing as well as smart economy. That is what we're having now. They're looking at, the government is looking at now, a smart economy. Wellness mentioned it much time. The technology, the economy, boost the economy and Their main goal is to reconcile technological innovation
Yeah.
with the economy, with the economic, social, and the ecological challenges of the city of tomorrow. Their
Okay.
leitmotif, which is a dominant recurring theme, is the
Mm-hmm.
quality of life, how to live better together while respecting our environment. Climate change.
Sustainable development goals. That's
Sustainable
about two
development
or
goal.
three of them.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. We don't realize that them here in the
Yeah.
communities. We know say them. So,
Uh,
smart economy, right? That sounds a lot like something we're having today.
yeah.
Countries inclusive of Jamaica are phasing out physical cash, people, which you see now, and going digital. And by the way, for those who are thinking of it as something good, it is not. You will now be connected to the IoT, which is the Internet of Things, as well as mentioned earlier, as was mentioned earlier, I should say. It's like being connected to an electronic grid system where your personal data is being stored.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to understand, you see, people, is that this is a worldwide application, definitely are directly benefiting Revelation 13, verse 17,
Yeah.
that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Whatever happens in America will now affects the entire world. And we see Jamaica is far ahead with its digital transformation
Yeah.
and transition.
Mm-hmm.
This is what, if accepted, people will cause you to get the mark of the beast. How, you may ask? Let's remember this. The digital economy is none like we've seen before. It is one that will unite the entire world under one umbrella.
Yeah.
It is what worldwide will determine if you can buy or sell. Without it, you would be a part of the global exception. So if you're not a part of this digital system, digital economy, you will be an outcast, really. So it means that it is a control mechanism that determines if you take the mark or you take it not. So it's a
Yeah.
test,
Yeah.
a test of
Yeah.
obedience and loyalty. Is that you're still obedient to God or it is to Satan? That is what, whether you believe it or not, that is what this digital system is all
Yeah.
about.
That's the end goal.
Yes.
Yes,
Or in
sir.
other words,
Mhm.
if you not get what I said before, the mark of the beast is Sunday sacredness by law. We know that. Which will make its way in darkness, as we know that, Becky.
Yeah.
So if you're not watching, it will make its way in darkness. When this law is enforced globally, many will not know. So otherwise, they wouldn't accept it. So if they knew that the mark of the beast was coming, people wouldn't accept it. So
Yeah.
it's coming in darkness.
Yeah.
So that means there has to be a control system or control mechanism,
Mhm.
which is this digital economy. That when this Sunday law is enforced, which causes a no buy, no sell, only those who have been a part of this digital system will be able to take part in the buying and selling. That is why this digital thing have to come before the Sunday law is
It
proclaimed,
has to. Yeah.
because
It
it is
has
the
to.
control thing that will determine if you are
Yeah.
if you have accepted the mark of the beast or not. Well, that was a mouthful,
You know.
people. I really hope you were educated by what we said.
Well.
There's a lot more, but we're pressed for time, so we don't want to give too much information in one bite.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
bite of a bite of more than what you can swallow, and you get anything.
And I'm hoping they were listening
Yes.
to to your explanation, and I don't know. I think you need to run back through that explanation of what will be the control mechanism, or what will
Oh,
determine
yes,
you
yes.
being your ability to buy
By
and sell.
yourself. Yes.
Before you go there, there's this thing, Jamaica Gleaner again,
Yes.
April 17. There's a part of an article that speaks about Jamdex.
Yes.
That is our digital currency in Jamaica here. It says Jamaica's Jamdex stands out as one of only a few fully operational
Yes.
retail CBDC alongside the Bahamas Sandala. So we're talking about globally.
Yes. Yes.
Jamaica's Jamdex stand out as one of only a few operational ones.
Yes.
So ours is operational alongside the Bahamian Sand Dollar and Nigeria's E-Naira. Most other projects remain in testing phases, including the ones in America
Hmm.
and Europe, as in England and other places. Most other projects remain in testing phases, with China's ECNY being the scale pilot, largest scale pilot, right? This puts Jamaica in a small group
Yes.
actively shaping the future of digital currency. Jamaica,
Head. Leading out.
future of digital currency.
Mm.
You look to Jamaica.
Yes.
By the way, we're the first ones to establish, the whole digital currency thing
CBDC.
as legal tender. Yes, we were the first in the world, and we are still leading.
Mm.
So we are among four:
Mm.
Bahamas, Nigeria, China, Jamaica. We are no small fish. No,
Yes. Yes.
we are big whale.
Yes.
Or the biggest thing in the sea here, whale shark.
No,
Yeah,
man. The blue whale, the biggest thing
and
I
blue
see.
whale bigger than whale shark.
Yeah, man. Blue
Or
whale, the biggest
there's
thing I
once
see.
upon a whale shark, but we are getting there. So we are either a whale shark getting to be the blue whale,
Yes.
but we're not normal.
Yes.
You know,
Somebody said something to me one time. When they talk about, you say, small fish, you say small fish are friends, something like that.
Mhm.
It was a saying that talk about that. I know what the person said.
Yeah.
When I say you have a smart, start small and go big. You say you use Sprat to catch wheel. Yes, they use Sprat to catch things that they use a
So,
bit of radio, so
so
they
now what
use to
you
catch
spread?
big things there. Yeah, now what is Sprat? Yeah, so
Yeah.
just to
But
recap.
because when I want you to recap,
Yes.
I've heard speakers on the podium, especially Adventists,
Yes.
nominal Adventists, preachers, saying when the mark of the beast is enforced, then they'll be asking you for you to participate in society,
Yes.
buying and selling. They'll be asking you, do you worship on Saturdays or do you worship on Sundays? That will
Oh,
but they'll use as a
no.
control mechanism.
Control.
A question. So you go to the supermarket and they ask you before you can
So it's
enter. They
everybody
ask
they
you,
can ask.
listen to my what asking or what? So you need to appoint somebody for the
Yes,
asking.
yes.
And seeing the nominal church is always leading where this is concerned. Maybe they are the ones you'll see at the supermarket steps. So they said that when you get to the supermarket,
Yeah.
they're gonna ask, is that pastor me here?
Mm.
This man controls one of the conferences in Jamaica.
Wow.
He's the head of one of the
Wow.
conferences, of the 5 conferences. Yes, he's the
Wow.
head. And he's one of the leading ones too. He was saying you go to the supermarket now and they ask you, you worship on Saturdays or you worship on, which as a Christian you won't be lying.
Right.
So you're gonna share the truth. You won't be able to enter the supermarket to participate.
Wow.
That's a control mechanism we're gonna use. Maybe if you're taking a taxi, the driver is gonna ask, do you worship on Saturday or do you worship on Sunday? No, you laugh. But if that's what the man said,
Yeah, that's true.
that
That's
is
true.
what they are sharing
Yeah.
worldwide in the Adventist organization.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about anything that's happening. No, digital or not digital.
Yes.
You don't worry about that.
Accept
The
everything.
question will be asked, sir, you want to come in my taxi? Which day you worship on? Saturday? You can't come in this taxi.
That is so absurd, eh?
Yeah.
So stupid.
It just sounds
Yeah.
like Dolly House
Yeah,
business.
that was business. Who up there going to
So-
ask questions like those?
So please share the truth with the people.
Yes, so we're reading back from Revelation 13:17, people.
Yeah.
which says that and that no man might buy or sell, save either at the mark or the name or the number of his name.
Yes.
Now, remember, this digital economy is none like we've seen before. It is one that will unite the entire world under one umbrella.
So
Once I
true.
use a one card, one needs card or whatever, and you can go anywhere. And anywhere you go with it, it can be used as to buy or sell
Yeah.
as legal tender. Yes.
Mhm.
So it is what worldwide will determine if you can buy or sell, which is this digital economy that's coming in, the digital cards that's coming in,
Yeah.
you being a part of the digital the what do you call it, digital banking system,
Yeah.
right? So without it, you would be a part of the global exception. If you don't have it, you will be lost to society. You don't need it. So it means that the control mechanism, it is the control mechanism.
Yes.
This
Yes.
digital system is a control mechanism that will determine if you take the mark of the beast or you don't take it. You take it not. In other words, the mark of the beast is Sunday sacredness by law. We know that we've established that here many times, many accounts.
Yeah.
So it is Sunday sacredness by law, which will make its way in darkness. It's not coming in light, it's making its way in darkness under the rug. So if you're not watching, you won't realize that it has passed. Now, when this law is enforced, people, globally, when it is enforced globally, many will not know. Otherwise, if they knew, they would not accept it. So that means that there has to be a control system, which is this digital economy. This is a control system that when the Sunday law is enforced, which causes a no buy and no sell situation,
Yes.
all those who have been a part of that digital system will be able to buy and sell.
Yeah.
So when it is enforced globally by law that you can't buy or sell unless you accept the Sunday thing, and we give further explanation next week because it's part of the this that I'm speaking now with the digital system you can buy or sell. It is part of the Jubilee year for justice and control that I have here, but I'll have to give it next week.
Yeah.
Seeing that we're pressed for time, so this here, this digital system, which will cause a no buy, no sell, which will cause you as well to accept the mark of the beast
Yeah.
or to not accept it. This also is what is gonna happen between this year with the Jubilee year that we're seeing happening. I'm gonna bring that forward
Mhm.
after. So with that happening now, we realize that this is the control mechanism. The digital system is a
Mhm.
control mechanism that will cause you to either buy or sell. So when it is enforced by law now, when Sunday law is enforced
Yeah.
globally, and you realize that you can buy and you can sell, that simply means that you have accepted the mark already because you accepted the digital system before it, and that
Yeah.
is what would have
Mhm.
set you up to be buying and selling when the Sunday law is passed. So it simply means that if you don't accept the digital system, you won't be able to buy and sell when the Sunday law is passed because you're not on the system already.
Same so.
You have to be on the system
Mhm.
before, which will determine if you can buy and sell when that time comes. That
Yeah.
is why it is coming in darkness. So when the government is telling to accept the needs card or accept all them card here to be a part of the digital banking system, they're not gonna tell you that it's setting you up for the
But
market.
but
They're not
why
gonna
would the
tell you that.
government? Why would
Exactly.
the government
They're
saying
not
that?
gonna tell you that. They want you to accept it
Yeah.
because Satan is seeking it,
Mhm.
what the Bible says, people. He calls it all. Small and great. Never saying calls it some.
Yeah.
Satan is
Yeah.
after everybody, not some people. Everybody he wants. That is why the Sunday law is making its way in darkness. So
Yeah.
you don't know if you're not watching. So when you accept this digital system and it cannot come off, when it is passed, you realize that oh they ask you to show your receipt in your hand. And that will determine if you can buy and sell. Once you can show that receipt, that means you can buy and sell. When the Sunday law is passed at that time, it
Yeah.
means you have
Yeah.
already accepted that
Mhm.
system. So accepting this digital system basically is inevitably accepting the mark. That is what we're saying. So we hope you have been
Yeah.
educated on this. Do some more research if you
Yes.
don't believe it.
Yes.
Look at
Yes.
Revelation 13, the entire thing more thoroughly. I know ask the questions next week or so forth. Let us have another discussion. So this brings us to the end of another segment of our study, people. We hope that it was a blessing to you and that you've truly learned something new and you see yourself as drawing closer to Christ more than ever before. The last word I like to leave with you all is as usual in Luke 21, where it says that I know it is high time to wake out of no, not that one, sorry. where it says that let me try to find it. Luke 21, I think it's verse 28.
Uh-huh.
Let me just try to find it quite quickly right here. I think
It's not the high time one.
no, it's not high
No.
time. I believe what let me say we can find it just in my head and just come out. Yes. 21, 28, I was right. It says to look up and lift your heads for your redemption joy nigh. Yes, that's what I was looking for. Redemption joy nigh, people. I pray and hope and trust that you will indeed look up and lift your heads high
Good note
unto
to
your
end on.
redemption.
Yeah.
Anything else in the last word before we pray, Vicky?
I'm just stirring up the pot now. But
Yes.
you ended well, you know.
Yes.
That it should have been your last word, so I'm gonna ensure it's your last word. It says that J.D. Vance
Mhm.
warns of very dark times for all of humanity
Oh.
in 21st century after the death of Pope Francis.
Hmm.
Very dark times.
Wow.
You remember the dark ages?
Yes, man, I remember the dark ages.
So he
But
says,
no, you know,
after Pope Francis' death,
but guess
very
what?
dark
I'm
times.
gonna get on that too with the Jubilee year because remember it's a Jubilee year for just the Catholics consider Jubilee as a year for justice, you know, a year for
So-
justice. So
So
you know we'll get into
you
it.
see,
You don't want to
you should
spoil.
have ended on what you
And,
ended on.
yes, you know well, at least it was the appetite of the
Yes.
listeners. So you know
Look up
you look up and
Yes.
look out for us
Look
as
up.
well for next week.
for your
God's willing,
redemption joy tonight.
God's
Joy
in our
tonight.
lives.
Yeah.
So you know, let's just keep that sleep on that, people, and let it be the forefront of your thoughts in and out of
Yes.
where we are in this earth's history. And let us have a word of prayer. Our Father and our God, ever loving, ever living, righteous, compassionate Savior, hallowed be your high and holy name. We indeed give you thanks again for another opportunity in which we could come forth and deliver your message of truth unto your people in this world of darkness and desolation. I pray that these words will bring light and peace to their lives, and that they'll see their need now to look up for the redemption journey.
Amen.
Read us now as your instruments of your words as well, that you continue to use us to give your message of truth unto a dying world, and that we too may ensure that our lives are in tandem with your will and your way. Continue to use us as instruments for your righteousness. May anything we speak or say may be coming straight from your throne, and may have your own to you in our lives. Consecrate us for your service, consecrate your people out there. Shape them according to divine similitude and save them, I pray, for they cannot save themselves. Save us also, I ask, as I humbly say thanks according to my faith and your will, for Christ's sake.
Amen.
Amen. All right, people, until next week, same time, same place, God's will. This is the Religious News Team signing out.